Hey, it's Sam. I'm making this quick video about the full moon in Capricorn that's happening on Monday, July 22nd. It's happening in the nakshatra of Uttara Ashada in Capricorn, happening at about 2:15 on Monday. That's 2:15 Eastern Time. Now, first of all, the full moon is actually the halfway point in the current sun cycle. So many times we say the full moon is happening, so it's going to start a time of well, it's actually a halfway point. So the start was when the new moon happened, which actually the new moon happened at the end of Gemini, but still and all, the full moon is the halfway point, and it's in opposition to the sun. So the sun is in Cancer right now, so this means that right now we're all really working on our emotional connection, the connection to the heart, how much integrity we bring to our heart. And we usually experience the heart through the agency of the emotions, which are like the waves. It's like experiencing the ocean through the waves. That's just the surface. This is how we usually experience the heart, through the emotions. I feel this emotion, so it triggers me to do this. When instead the heart is actually the deep source of love and beauty and truth and intuition, our deeper wisdom is what the heart really is. Now that's personified by the sign of Cancer. So the sun is there right now, which is trying to illuminate that area of life for us. So opposite that, and in contrast to that the emotional waves of the sign of Cancer, is now the full moon in Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn. It's very practical. It's about the past and the future, and about making commitments and being protected, and about structure and boundaries and things that are time-tested and realistic and not necessarily impractical and knocked around by the waves of emotion. So this is a big axis of karma right now. We're all going through, learning the sort of balance and the harmonizing point between honoring our feelings in the moment, which is what Cancer is about, being flexible. It's like a mother who needs to be flexible to the needs of the child. This is the best way to understand the sign of Cancer. When a mother has a child, the child might need anything, so the mother has to be emotionally attuned to the child and be responsive to whatever the child needs. That's Cancer, being emotionally responsive. Capricorn is actually opposite that, which is about not reacting to the moment emotionally and having that sort of cold gaze, that sort of practical, realistic gaze. So we have this full moon in Capricorn where we're aware of the need to have some detachment, some discrimination, and not just be emotionally reactive. So this is a deep sort of counterbalance for the sun in Cancer right now, this full moon in Capricorn. Now it's in the nakshatra of Uttara Ashada, which literally means later victory. And this later victory comes when we honor the universal devas, what are called the Vishwa devas, that include certain energies like time and action and desire and truth. In the Sanskrit, that would be like Kala, Dharma, Kama, these different energies. So really, this guarantees a victory. So however well we are using our time, whatever we're focused on, however much truth we're bringing to situations, however much integrity and action, this is what's guaranteeing that one thing is prevailing over another. So there's always a victory in the sense that one thing is always prevailing over another. We might say, oh, I want to succeed in my job, but what's really happening, and what the true victory is whatever ratio of these energies is coming forth. However much truth we're bringing to it, however much action we're bringing, however much desire, however much time and input is truly what's resulting. We might say that we want this higher outcome, but actually maybe our heart is tangled up in all of this darkness, and we're actually doing that. That's actually the karma that we're bringing out. That's actually our truth. Our truth is that we're tangled up in this darkness. So this victory is assured based on however these energies are mixing through us. So again, this is a big, important understanding with this full moon in Uttarashada. A victory is always guaranteed based on how you're using time, truth, action, desire, and several others. There are actually 10 Vishwadevas, but those are a few of the important ones, the most important ones. A few other important things, it's actually this full moon is called Guru Purnima, which means the full moon of the teacher, of the guru. And it means this is a time when our mind is most receptive to really understanding the message that our teachers and our teachings are trying to convey. Because our mind is most receptive. When the moon is full, we're actually kind of full of ourselves, full of our consciousness and presence. Really, the moon is the Jiva Atman, and it's the Jiva Atman that goes with us from lifetime to lifetime. The sun is the Paramatman, the Supreme Self, which means that which is unembodied, the unembodied self, that doesn't take form necessarily. Now, it's folded into form, but we can be fully established in the sun, which is an unembodied, the spiritual Paramatman, the Supreme Self, the one without a second, the one with no shadow. But once we take form in a world of time, in a world of karma, with a body, and where the sun's light then becomes reflected through duality of light and dark, and the sun in the sky casts a shadow on form, then it's the sun and moon together. And our karma actually penetrates to the level of the mind, to the level of the moon. That's why in Vedic Astrology we read mostly the dashas sequences that are related to the moon, because it shows the karmas in the mind. The Vimshotri Dasha cycle is related to the moon, which means the karmas in the mind. What we do with the karma in the mind is a different level. We can change the nature of our future karma by the actions we take through the physical body. So karma in this lifetime only penetrates to the level of the mind, and that's what the moon is. So Guru Purnima, the reason the full moon is so important is because it shows the karma in the mind. And Guru Purnima is the optimal time to really understand our teachings and have them penetrate deeply into the level of our samskaras and into the level of our consciousness to truly affect our karma in a deeper way. Remember, the karma really only penetrates to the level of the mind. I don't care what anyone says. You can't. This is why astrology is never 100% accurate about actions. It can't be, because the karma only penetrates to the level of the mind. And the actions can be changed based on our sadhana and spiritual practice. It doesn't mean the karma is changed, because the action first starts in the mind, but the physical expression of the karma and the new karma that we create, the new groove, the new samskaras we create, can always be modified by sadhana and by intention and by spiritual practice. But again, it doesn't change karma, it just brings out the highest potential of the karma. So this is Guru Purnima. Monday is a great night to worship your gurus and your teachers and honor them. A few other very important things about this full moon. Number one is we have many planets in Rahu's nakshatras, and we have Jupiter, Mars, and Mercury in Gemini, which are in Ardra nakshatra. So Gemini is ruled by Mercury, so it's great to have the ruler there. Jupiter and Mars also being in Gemini shows this alignment of our teachings and principles, which have to do with Jupiter, and our actions, Mars. Mars is how we put our principles into action, or not. And so having Jupiter and Mars together shows a marriage of these two ideas, so it's always good when we can walk the talk, and that's what Mars is about. But first, what is the talk? What do we believe in? What is our higher principles? And that's Jupiter. The other thing is Jupiter is actually defeating Mars in a planetary war on Guru Purnima, and I use the planet with the lower longitude the lower ecliptic longitude as the victor in the planetary war. Some don't agree with that, but I see that repeatedly. The planet with lower ecliptic longitude is the one that wins the planetary war. So Jupiter is taking the aggression of Mars and orienting it toward higher principles now. I should say on Guru Purnima, because it's a very dynamic flow. That planetary war only lasts like 2 days. So we can see the aggression of Mars being transformed into higher teaching and principles on the Guru Purnima. Making all of it better, in fact, in the highest sense, is that the ruler is there, which is Mercury. So Mercury is the capacity to be flexible, to be intelligent, and to not just march lockstep with the past and just be stuck in our deep grooves and our deep habits and our deep routines that keep us stuck. Mercury shows flexibility, options, creativity, and he's there also. Now they're in Ardra Nakshatra, which is ruled by Rahu, and it's really the nature of Lord Shiva as the transformer or the destroyer, as in his form of Rudra. So it shows a lot of intense transformational energy. So we need to be careful of what we're destroying and what we're obsessed over. It's a bit of an obsessive quality, and we need to be careful not to get obsessed over things and lose our head and wind up destroying things that we actually really want to be there to keep us happy. This can happen when we have the moon, or I'm sorry, when we have a lot of planets in Rahu Nakshatras. So in addition to that, we have Saturn and Rahu in Libra. They're also in Rahu Nakshatras in Swati. So Rahu and Saturn, I should say exalted Saturn in Libra, are bringing a lot of accountability into our romantic relationships and in all of our relationships with others, bringing a lot of sacrifice and commitment and need to be realistic into our relationships of all sorts, especially romantic ones if you're involved, and wherever we're not in alignment and in integrity, we're feeling it. And so having Rahu and Saturn in Swati, which is also ruled by Rahu and gives this power to scatter, can show a sort of scattered nature in your relationships right now, and it can be, it can be scattering them. So you might feel kind of scattered in it, or that the energy is getting kind of like, maybe thinking of being with someone else or other kinds of things. So you want to notice this and realize that it can show a lot of strength because Saturn is exalted. It might be time to make a change, but also you need to be careful because Rahu makes it very volatile. And the last thing to discuss is Venus is in Leo, which again also has a big relationship quality to it. Venus is the planet of relationships and the karaka of desire and passion and romance. And in Leo, which is ruled by the sun, it's kind of like the queen, demanding praise, demanding affection, demanding attention. If you're in a relationship where you're not feeling that, you're not feeling appreciated, not feeling that you're being respected, this could very well be a time when you're insisting and throwing down and getting into some sort of power plays around that sort of thing, which, maybe that's what's needed. But again, you also want to be careful because many times, we can do these things, and even if it's what's needed, the way that energy gets expressed is not very integrated. Venus in Leo is, we can tend to regret, demanding attention or demanding respect. That's not the way Venus goes about her business. So it doesn't mean like, someone might say, well, but I wasn't appreciated, so what am I supposed to do? Well, there are ways to do it. There are ways to be appreciated, like appreciate someone else, or Venus has the way of doing it that's congruent with her nature. Leo, it's like demanding, praise me! Even just hearing that sounds kind of strange, because Leo is that kind of energy, which is good for the king and good for things that are enthusiastic, but that are, Leo is a sattvic sign, which is about higher purposes, which is where you say something like, yes, let's do this, let's go, teach yoga, or let's go serve this cause, or save the trees, or I don't know, something that's bigger than just our personal desires. It's sattvic. So the big quality of Leo serves that big purpose. when we take a personal planet like Venus and say, now it's like, serve me, honor me, respect me, you just hear it's just kind of off. So this is what you got to be careful of with Venus and Leo. There are times and ways to get respect, and times when it doesn't flow very well, where it kind of, sort of clanks in your ear. So Venus is in Leo right now, and that's also happening. So a lot going on. Thought I'd make this quick video for you, and if you want to see how this is going to affect your sign, you can do that. Just click below. You can see there is a link for you to check that out. For only 1 penny you can see your forecast, and then also get the forecast for the month of July and the other member forecast for only 1 penny for a 2-week trial. So check that out.